At the age of 15, a sudden earthquake struck, and I shielded my younger sister from the shattered mirrors in the dance studio. Glass pierced my thigh, and I was forced to have my leg amputated. Because of this, my parents came to despise me and demanded that I give my dance competition spot to my younger sister. When I switched to studying painting and was recognized for my talent, my parents forced me to admit that the work was my sister's. Later, I dated a boyfriend from a prominent family, and my parents said only my younger sister was worthy of him. On the day they got married, my parents, afraid I would ruin the wedding, locked me in my room and suffocated me to death. After being reborn, I heard my mom urging me from outside the door to go practice dancing. "Mom, I think I have a fever. Let Yaya go practice dancing by herself. You've lost both your legs already, so just give your younger sister the spot in the dance competition. As long as she wins this competition, she won't have to take the arts entrance exam at all. You're the older sister, so you should be thinking of her." My mother looked at my prosthetic leg with disgust. "Besides, have you ever seen a dancer who wears a prosthetic leg?" After she finished speaking, she gave my father a look. My father immediately chimed in. "Your mother's right. Even without your legs, you can still learn painting and find a new way forward. But your sister has always only loved dancing. If you give her the competition spot, I'll sign you up for an art class right away, with unknown instruction." Mom and Dad favored my younger sister, and I had always known it. From something as small as a snack to something as important as my future spot in a competition, Mom and Dad would guilt-trip me into giving it to her. I said nothing, just lowered my head and silently let my tears fall. My mom picked up a bottle of mineral water and hurled it straight at me. "I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Your leg is broken, not your ears." The mineral water bottle hit me right on the forehead, and the pain jolted me back to full awareness. I was suddenly startled, and when I looked up, I saw the familiar room and furnishings all around me. I just realized that I had been reborn. This time, my legs weren't broken, and I was lying safely in bed in my room. Outside the door was my mom's voice urging me to get up and practice dancing. "Xiaomeng, it's time to practice dancing. Hurry up and get up. Your younger sister is all ready and waiting for you." In my past life, my younger sister, Shiryu, and I went to the dance studio to practice. Halfway through, an earthquake suddenly struck. I instinctively shielded her, but a shard of shattered glass from the dance studio pierced my thigh, and my leg had to be amputated. My parents demanded that I give up my competition spot, but I insisted on competing with a prosthetic leg. In the end, I still won first place. However, with my parents' money and influence, the one who ultimately used the dance competition's first place title to bypass the arts exam process was my younger sister, Shiryu. My parents invested all their financial and material resources in my younger sister. While I was rumored to have failed the college entrance examination because no one took me to sit for it, my parents then forced me to repeat the year. Later, with red eyes, I confronted them and asked why they had deliberately kept me from taking the college entrance examination. Instead, my parents scolded me for being immature. "Is your taking the college entrance exam more important than your sister's competition? The dance competition only comes once every 3 years. If you miss it, you'll have to wait another 3 years. You only need to repeat a year and you can take the exam again. How can you not tell what matters more and what matters less?" With no other choice, I had to follow their wishes and repeat a year. But after the college entrance exam scores came out, my parents told me that I had failed to make the cut. Helpless, I had no choice but to ask them to make good on their promise of enrolling me in an art class with unknown instruction. My dad agreed to me so I wouldn't go make trouble for my younger sister. I practiced controlling my brush every day from dawn to dusk. Combined with the unknown instructee, I improved rapidly. Not long after, I was recommended by others in the industry and landed commission work at a Fortune 100 company. Over time, I became somewhat well known. With a solid reputation and equally strong painting skills, I gained the recognition of a renowned painter and was taken in as the closed-door disciple. At that time, Shiryu did not win first place in the competition, nor did she take the college entrance examination. so she could only return home and live off her parents. Later, under my master's guidance, I gradually became widely famous. In order to secure a future for my younger sister, my parents hired another teacher to teach her painting. When my first masterpiece, New Life, was released, I was then forced by my parents, under threat of death, to admit that it was my younger sister's work. Only then did I understand that in my previous life, no matter how I tried to change my fate, I could never escape my parents' control. Back then, I never even thought that the honor stolen by my younger sister wouldn't be something she could enjoy for long. A fire can't be wrapped in paper forever. She could steal my grades, but she could never take away my ability. My thoughts snapped back, and my mom was still urging me from outside the door. I hurriedly pressed the hot water bottle against the top of my head. I made an excuse. I think I have a fever. Mom, let Yaya go practice dancing on her own. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the earthquake arrived as expected. Half an hour later, my mom got a call from the dance studio. The lead instructor said anxiously, "Parent of Shiryu, please come over right away. There was just an earthquake." And her leg was pierced through by a shard of glass from the dance studio. I was pretending to go get some water to take my medicine when my mom suddenly knocked the cup out of my hand. "What medicine are you even taking? Your sister's leg is injured. Hurry up and go check on her." As expected, the one who had to undergo amputation this time was my younger sister. But my parents blamed me for the problem. Outside the ward, my mom pointed at me and shouted, "Did you already know there would be an earthquake today? So you skipped dance practice just because you had a slight fever. If you had gone with her, maybe she wouldn't have been injured. Shermeng, tell me, did you do it on purpose?" The young nurse who came in to change the dressing shook her head and couldn't help but say, "Who could possibly sense an earthquake in advance? Ma'am, aren't you afraid of breaking your daughter's heart by saying that?" My mom only froze for a second, and didn't think anything was wrong at all. Instead, she said the little nurse was too nosy. My mom was never afraid of breaking my heart. If there was something tasty or fun, or even prizes I earned myself at school, she always made me give them to my younger sister. She and my dad always thought that since I was the older sister, I ought to yield to my younger sister. I had just started to remember things, and they made me read the story of Kong Rong sharing pears no fewer than 100 times. Just so I would understand that an older sister yielding to her younger sister was a traditional virtue. 3 days later, my younger sister's amputation surgery was completed. But there was very little time left until the college entrance exam. At the dinner table, my parents still demanded that I give up the competition spot to my younger sister. "Your younger sister has lost her leg now. Only by taking first place in the dance competition can she have a bright future. But you're perfectly healthy, so you can learn anything you want. And it would all be easier for you than for your sister. Let her have the spot." Xiaomeng. I paused, then said, "How can my sister compete like this?" My mom replied without even thinking, "She can wear a prosthetic leg to dance. No one says you can't dance just because you wear a prosthetic leg." Right. I hadn't expected my mom to say that. My dad moved his lips and added, "As long as you give the spot to your younger sister, I'll sign you up for onion lessons in art. Didn't you say before that you quite like drawing too? Even if you don't get in, you can still take the arts route. You don't have to be so fixated on dancing." I saw the eager looks on my parents' faces fall upon me. Anyway, I couldn't change anything, so I might as well go along with them. They thought that once they got the spot, they would win the competition. In the end, they were overthinking it. So I replied firmly, "Mom, Dad, I think so too. You already usually ask me to yield to my younger sister more often. Now that my sister has injured her leg, I should even more give her the competition slot. Tomorrow I'll go tell the teacher." Both my parents widened their eyes at the same time and looked at me in disbelief. Seeing that I had agreed, my dad immediately arranged for the onion tutor to come to our house to talk. I stood up and bowed respectfully to my parents, thanking them. Both of them smiled in relief and praised me for being well-behaved and sensible. I also smiled. I'll be even more sensible in the future. After giving the competition spot to my younger sister, I knew there was no room left for negotiation. So I threw myself completely into studying and painting. Whenever I had time, I shut myself in my room and buried myself in hard study. The teacher they hired had me copy an authentic original. After a month of painting, it was only just beginning to take shape. Just as I was about to add the colors, my younger sister took it upon herself to fill it in while I was out of the house. It ended up turning into a complete mess. I couldn't hold back and yelled at her. "You don't understand. So don't just draw all over it for me. I only have a few days left before I have to hand in my homework. And now you've messed it up, how am I supposed to turn it in?" Hearing that, my younger sister burst into tears, kept apologizing to me. She said she didn't mean it. She had just been stuck at home all this time and was too bored. So she wanted to try helping me color it in. She hadn't expected to make things worse instead. Mom and Dad rushed in when they heard my younger sister crying. She held the prosthetic with both hands and cried so hard she could barely catch her breath. My mom was heartbroken. She rushed over and hugged my younger sister, hurriedly pulling down her pant leg to cover her prosthetic limb. Then she turned back, pointed at me viciously, and scolded, "Isn't it just a painting? Just redraw it. Your sister's leg is already bad enough. And you're bullying her on top of that. Do you even have a conscience?" With my mom's casual remark to redraw it. A month of my hard work was gone. She knew perfectly well that this was not a matter of redrawing at all. It was that sure you had gone ahead and smeared paint on it without my consent. And then afterward pretended to be aggrieved, saying she hadn't meant to do it. My dad was just about to criticize me. I had no choice but to lower my voice and say, "Forget it. It's fine. Since my sister was bored at home, let's just treat it as something to pass the time. I'll explain it to the teacher. Worst case, I'll spend another month redrawing it. As long as my sister is happy, that's all that matters." In my dad's furious gaze, it was instantly filled with relief. He gently placed his hand on my head. "Our little Meng has grown up and truly knows how to give way to her younger sister. Your mom and I can finally worry a little less." My younger sister came over trembling and said that once I had redrawn it, she would listen to my instructions and help me touch up the colors to make up for me. I hurriedly waved my hand to refuse. "I'm not angry. What matters is that you take good care of your health. It takes 10 days to half a month to touch up the color. And by then you'll be worn out. Mom and Dad will definitely say I'm being unreasonable. You wouldn't want them to scold me, would you? Don't worry. If you want anything of mine in the future, just take it. I won't blame you." As soon as he finished speaking, Mom and Dad thought they had heard wrong. He looked up in astonishment, his gaze filled with disbelief as he turned to me. I said nothing more, silently put away the drawing board, cleaned up the paints my younger sister had knocked over, and went back to my room to practice controlling my brush strokes, just as my mom said. At worst I could just repaint it, but I can't make a mistake now. Life is like a game of chess. I don't want to make one wrong move and lose the whole game. All the patience I show now is for a better comeback in the future. For the Gaokao. Because I chose the artistic path of painting. I successfully got into the art academy I had my heart set on. My younger sister didn't win first place in the competition and barely got into a junior college. Because of my leg, my dancing was no longer as natural as it had been before. Meanwhile, thanks to my previous efforts, I was thriving at the art academy and won the recognition of many renowned teachers. Seeing that studying painting was also a good way out, my parents hired another teacher to teach my younger sister. Not long after my younger sister started learning painting in my previous life, I completed the first masterpiece of my life. My parents naturally made my younger sister take my place. They forced me to admit it was my sister's work, saying how hard things were for her, and that I drew so well. What was wrong with giving one piece to my sister? No matter how much I resisted in my past life, the name displayed at the exhibition was still Shiryu. I was too weak, and I could never beat my parents, whoever they want to change it to. I have no power to resist. So this time I answered seriously, as long as it can help my sister, I'm willing to give her the chance to become famous. As long as she can bear all those compliments and applause. I sneered inwardly. Besides those, there would also be criticism. My parents beamed with joy. What's there not to bear? Your sister has such a wonderful older sister like you, that's her good fortune. When she makes it big in the future, she definitely won't forget you. You're all family, so you surely won't mind who gets famous. Right. I nodded vigorously. Just do whatever mom and dad arrange. Fame invites trouble, just as fattened pigs draw slaughter. As soon as her masterpiece was released, Sure Yuehong's pace was so fast she never expected it. A reporter came to interview her. Miss Sure, you're truly a role model for young people today. Although your leg injury prevented you from continuing to dance, who would have thought your accomplishments in art would be so profound as well? There's really nothing you can't do. Could you share the secret of your success with everyone? Sure Yu smiled faintly and looked straight into the camera, showing no sign of guilt at all. There's no secret to it, just that where there's a will, there's a way. I looked at her on the screen and couldn't help but snort. What a fine example of where there's a will, there's a way. After the interview, many people kept reaching out to interview her, asking when she would release a new work again. She just brushed it off with, soon. Soon. Behind closed doors, my parents held a family meeting. They demanded that I release a new work as soon as possible to silence the media. I lied that I hadn't been feeling well lately, and asked Sure Yu to post a few photos on Weibo of herself painting, telling everyone that she was working hard. As soon as I'm feeling better, I'll get straight to work. The three of them all broke into satisfied smiles. That same day, Sure Yu posted on Weibo saying that her new work would meet everyone in 10 days. Everyone left comments praising how impressive she was, truly worthy of being a rising star. For others, a work takes either 3 months or half a year. But Sure Yu only needs 10 days. I'm looking forward to it. Bookmarking this. I want to be the first to watch. Sure Yu was already completely lost in the whirlpool of these praises and could not extricate herself. So she called me to ask how soon I could start drawing. I calmly hung up the phone. Then I sent her a medical record slip. My mom's shrill, piercing voice came through. What? You can't paint anymore. And you still need 1 million for surgery. The report shows that I have a serious illness and need surgery, costing 1 million. After my efforts over the past few years, our family savings may not be much, but we can still come up with 1 million. After getting my affirmative answer, my parents didn't come to see me. Instead, they pretended not to know. About 10 days later, the doctor friend personally called my parents and said that I was going into surgery tonight, and he hoped they could come to the hospital to sign the consent forms. My father hesitated and mumbled, "We can sign, but we don't have money to pay for her surgery. 1 million. That's no small sum. We don't have that much money. If it really doesn't work out, then don't let her get treated." The doctor friend was puzzled and asked them why they were being so heartless. My dad said bluntly, "Why? Because she isn't our biological daughter. Only our Yaya, who is now a famous painter, is our real daughter." Then the phone was hung up. A chill spread through my heart. In order not to pay for my surgery, my parents actually said that I wasn't their biological child. My friend looked at me and let out a long sigh. Fortunately, you're now relaxing by the sea breeze and drinking red wine. If you were really sick, your parents would actually plan to abandon you. Human nature really isn't worth testing. I said lightly, "It's fine. If they're abandoning me, then they can't blame me for not helping them." By 10 o'clock that night, I still hadn't received a single phone call checking in on me. Today was the agreed release date for Sure Yu's new work. If she broke her promise, then no matter how superb her painting skills were, the persona she had worked so hard to build up before would collapse from then on. While my friend was going to get the red wine, a girl playing by the seaside exclaimed in surprise, "Wow! The great painter Sure Yu has really released a new work. This one looks even more high-end than the last one, and it has such an artistic feel." Hearing this, I immediately opened Weibo, and sure enough, I saw a world-shaking masterpiece. But I knew very well that with Sure Yu's current level, she could never possibly paint a work like this. As I looked at it, I suddenly felt that this painting looked somewhat familiar. Where did I see it? At my mentor's house. When I visited my mentor a month ago, He was painting in his room. By then, this painting titled Life had already been completed. My mentor's wife had a severe liver disease and needed a great deal of money to support treatment. At that time, I pointed to this painting, Life, and asked why he didn't take it to exchange for money. The mentor said other pieces could be sold. But not this one. This painting really looks a lot like the mentor's painting. It's just called Free Soul. An idea formed in my mind, just as Shiryu was graciously soaking up the public's praise. I dashed through the rain to my mentor's home. My mentor's wife looked much better. My mentor looked at me steadily. Student Shermeng, I knew you would come. This trip wasn't wasted. I got the answer I wanted and left satisfied. It's raining. A black Bentley drove past me, splashing dirty water all over my clothes. The car stopped, and Lu Yan got out. Lu Yan is my future boyfriend, a famous rich second-generation heir. After I got together with him in my previous life, he was extremely considerate toward me, and even proposed marriage after we had been dating for less than 3 months. But my parents felt that only someone as outstanding as my younger sister, Shiryu, was worthy of him. In order to help my younger sister marry into a wealthy family and enjoy a worry-free life in the future, they often invited Lu Yan to our home as a guest and deliberately sent me away to create opportunities for the two of them. Lu Yan was very clingy and extremely possessive. Wherever I went, he went too. Shiryu rarely had the chance to be alone with him. In desperation, her parents actually came up with a devious scheme and slipped drugs into the tea Lu Yan was drinking. They successfully made Lu Yan and her younger sister sleep together, turning raw rice into cooked rice. I thought that someone as rich as Lu Yan would give Shiryu a large sum of money to settle it, and then apologize to me in every possible way. I didn't expect what I would get in return was Lu Yan's cold words. Let's break up. Your younger sister understands me better than you do, and her figure is better than yours too. You really aren't good enough for me. Look at your legs now. Only I would still want you. Back then, I got together with you purely because I was attracted to your face. Looking at it now, I was just too shallow. At this moment, Lu Yan got out of the car in a courteous manner, sincerely and politely apologized to me, and even asked me out to dinner. If this were in my previous life, I would have definitely refused without hesitation. Who would go out to eat with a stranger they had just met? But times have changed. I pretended to decline softly. No need. It's just a small matter. No need to apologize in person. But Lu Yan refused, insisting on treating me to a meal no matter what. Lu Yan is a stubborn mule. I know that better than anyone. After dinner, Lu Yan personally drove me home. As we were nearing my building, I called Shiryu and asked her to throw an umbrella down to me from the window. Just as I had expected, my mom and Shiryu saw someone driving me home and rushed over to me in a flash, even forgetting to bring an umbrella. When my mom saw Lu Yan, her eyes lit up instantly. Using the rain as an excuse, she invited him to come inside and sit for a while. Watching Lu Yan's back as he walked through the door, I couldn't help feeling a surge of joy. This was exactly what I wanted to see. After going back and forth like this a few times, Lu Yan confessed to me. Coincidentally, Shiryu was also planning to confess to Lu Yan today, so I deliberately posted a WeChat Moments update visible only to the three of them. Within a few minutes, my parents called and told me to rush home at once, saying Shiryu had fallen at home. As soon as I walked in, I saw Shiryu lying on the sofa, crying tears of pear blossoms and rain. As soon as my parents saw me, they came storming over angrily and said loudly, "Xiaomeng, did Lu Yan confess to you today? You know your younger sister likes him too, right?" My father's expression faltered slightly, and he said in a choked voice, "Xiaomeng, how about you let Lu Yan go to your younger sister? You're healthy and complete, and clever as can be. What kind of person could you not find? Why do you have to compete with her?" I was a little surprised. I never meant to compete with her. Who Lu Yan chooses is entirely his own freedom. But I know Lu Yan's character best. His possessiveness is very strong, so much so that you could call it downright insane. During the 3 months I was with him, he had to stick to me at all times, and I had to report wherever I went. If I failed to do even one thing properly, he would kneel in front of me and ask whether he was no longer important, and then turn around and blame me, even playing some appalling games. After thinking it over, let's sure you play with him then. Having been reborn, I would never repeat the same mistakes. Sure you cried even louder, suddenly stepping forward and grabbing me. Sis, please give Lu Yen to me. I really like him. I can't live without him. Seeing this, even Mom and Dad's brows were twisted into knots. They parted their lips slightly, wanting to say something. I spoke up first. I actually don't like him that much either. I'll go tell him tomorrow that I've changed my mind. As long as my sister likes him, I don't mind. Sure you suddenly stopped crying and shook my hand vigorously, saying thank you. My parents were so happy they danced with joy, saying how lucky they were to have a sensible daughter like me. They acted very quickly. The next day, they had me invite Lu Yen over to our house for dinner, and just like in my previous life, they drugged Lu Yan's tea. Before long, the two of them had already crossed the line and become husband and wife. This time, Lu Yen apologized to me in a casual, offhand way. And sure you even said in front of him that she was only too much in love with Lu Yen. I said, now that I see the two of you together, I finally know what it means to be a perfect match. Watching the two of them being all lovey-dovey in front of me, I felt as calm inside as a stagnant pool of dead water. Only I know that Lu Yen is different. After the two of them held their wedding, Sure Yu smoothly became the young mistress of his wealthy family. She put all her energy into Lu Yen. Lu Yen was worth hundreds of millions. As long as she kept Lu Yen happy, she wouldn't have to work so hard to build up the image of some famous painter. So naturally she no longer had the mind to post on Weibo. But she had always overestimated how much her fans loved her. And they all demanded that she create new works. But now she had no time to focus on her career. So she placed this heavy responsibility on me. I promised her it would be finished in 5 days. And she happily posted on Weibo, saying she would wait for the good news 5 days later. Master Sure is getting more and more amazing. Now she only needs 5 days to create a piece of work. I'm in awe. This time I'm definitely going to get a ticket to her exhibition. I'll take leave if I have to go. I believe she definitely won't let us down. These 5 days, I used the excuse of staying home to work on my writing. But in private I visited many places to investigate my background. It was all because of what my dad said that I wasn't their biological child. I wanted very much to know whether it was just something said in anger or the truth. The result, however, shocked me. The 5-day deadline had arrived, and Sure Yu was urging me at the door to see my artwork. I slowly opened the door. The studio had been left in complete disarray by me, and Sure Yu was extremely pleased. Sis Meng, are you really about to pull out all the stops this time? You've made the studio such a mess, you must need a lot of paint. Right. I nodded vigorously, then turned to ask her, want to experience the thrill of unboxing a mystery box? She looked puzzled. So I explained to her that she couldn't look at it and should save it to unveil together with the fans. She smiled smugly. You're quite mysterious, aren't you? Then I'll agree to your request. Soon it was time for the agreed release of the new work. This time, Sure Yu was very high profile, directly holding an art exhibition of her own. And even the ticket prices were set very high. After everyone finished looking at those relatively casual paintings, they couldn't wait to see this round of works. Sure Yu stood aside, dressed to the nines, waiting for the host to announce that she would unveil the curtain. The people below were almost unable to hold back and began discussing in low voices. I'm so looking forward to Master Sure's work this time. She previously said on her public blog that it would be even more meaningful than the first 2 times, and even more worthy of appreciation. She's not only a top artist now, she's also Mrs. Lu, with both identities backing her. The works she creates are sure to be even more valuable and made with greater care. You're making me itch with anticipation. I can't wait to see it right now. She's my idol. I switched to an art major because of her. She's my role model. Sure Yu heard everything clearly from the stage. And the corners of her lips curved up unconsciously. Her parents lifted their chins proudly. afraid others wouldn't know they were Yu's parents. My mom ultimately couldn't hold back and turned to say to someone, "Our Yaya has been very hardworking since she was little. You can't go wrong learning from her." This piece was drawn by her after staying up late every night. And it definitely won't disappoint you. My mom's ability to lie really was something else. She said it without even blinking. The next second, the host announced that Yu would personally draw back the curtain. When everyone saw the painting behind the curtain, they were stunned. And the whole venue erupted instantly. My mom suddenly sprang up, shoved me aside, and rushed onto the stage. Behind the curtain was not some world-famous masterpiece, but merely a simple sketch illustrating a story of swapping the beams and pillars. Yu's expression changed instantly. At a loss, she reached out and pinched my thigh. "What are you doing, sis? Hurry up and take out your painting. Don't joke around with everyone." I did not move an inch in my seat. My parents also grew anxious. The audience below the stage began to stir restlessly, cursing angrily. "What is this? I paid $200-300 for a ticket just to watch this. You're treating us like monkeys, making us wait for hours just to see a stick figure drawing a child could make. Can you give us an explanation? Is this supposed to be some kind of show effect? Master Sure, hurry up and bring out the real painting, or give us a refund." Everyone present stood up and pointed at Yu, shouting loudly, "Refund! Refund!" Yu panicked in an instant, tugging at my hand repeatedly, as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. "Sis, where's the painting? Hurry up and bring it out." My parents were obviously panicked and hurriedly started trying to calm the crowd. "Everyone, please don't be anxious. That was just a small incident just now. Please give us a few minutes, and we'll bring the painting up right away." The three of them wanted to join forces to drag me to the backstage, but I refused to go along with their wishes. "Fine. We'll wait a few minutes. If you don't bring it up in a few minutes, we'll call the police and report you." I broke free from the restraint of the three and rushed onto the stage, turning on the recording I had prepared in advance through the microphone. The voice of my mentor came through the microphone. "Your mentor's wife didn't have enough money for the surgery. It was your younger sister, Yu, who spent $1 million to buy that painting. Life. For me. Later, she changed it to the Soul of Freedom and used it as her signature work." The recording ended abruptly there, and all three of them changed expression in unison. My mother pointed at me on stage and shouted, "What are you doing, Meng? You're going to ruin your sister like this." I let out a cold laugh and shot back at my mother. "Who exactly is ruining whom? Just listen carefully." The recording continued playing, and the three people's expressions grew increasingly grim. My mom pointed at me on stage and shouted, "What are you doing, Meng? You'll ruin your younger sister like this." I let out a cold laugh and shot back at my mom. "Who exactly is ruining whom? Just listen carefully." The recording continued playing, and the three people's expressions grew increasingly grim. "Xiaomeng, your legs are gone anyway, so just give the dance competition spot to your younger sister. As long as she wins the competition, she won't have to take the art exam. As her older sister, you should be accommodating. Your younger sister has it so hard. You're such a great painter. What's the big deal with giving her one painting? We only need to change the name to your younger sister's. As long as you don't tell anyone, no one will know. You're all family. You won't mind who becomes famous, right? If you don't pass, you can take it again. Your younger sister is different. Does she need $1 million to be treated? We don't have it. Tell her not to go on with the treatment. Xiaomeng, why don't you let Lu Yan go to your younger sister? You're perfectly healthy and brilliant. What kind of man could you not find? Why do you have to fight her for him? If you're not willing, your dad and I will die right in front of you. Sis, please let me have Lu Yan. I really can't live without him." By the time the recording finished, I was already in tears. Everyone began condemning Yu, demanding that she refund the money. So her masterpiece was actually her sister Meng's. And even that previous famous painting was bought by her too. Yu, you're truly shameless using your sister's work and claiming it as your own. Beware. Karma will get you. It's outrageous to have $1 million to buy paintings for forgery. But not $1 million to pay for your own daughter's surgery. What a heartless parent. It's truly unfortunate to have parents like that in this world. Feel so sorry for Shermeng. She's been told since childhood to give in to her younger sister about everything: competition spots, paintings, even her boyfriend. This family is really absurd. She should get away from them as soon as possible. Support Shermeng. She's already talented on her own. And if she leaves this bizarre family, she'll have a much better life. With the truth laid bare, you rushed at me and grappled with me recklessly, accusing me of ruining her life. My mom was so furious with me that she passed out. My dad raised his hand to hit me, but I dodged sideways and he struck you instead. In a fit of rage, you shoved hard and crashed to the ground. My dad almost had a cerebral hemorrhage. The scene descended into chaos, with people still shouting, "Fraud! Give us our money back." While hugging my mom and dad and crying, rolled up her pant leg to reveal her prosthetic leg and sobbed. I ended up like this all thanks to my sister. Do you really believe she would just let us do whatever we wanted? She's a woman with a heart as vicious as a snake and scorpion. Was truly at the end of her rope. She could even pin this on me. Luckily, I had invited the teacher who had coached us in dance back then today. The teacher was invited onto the stage. And cried hysterically to the teacher. "Teacher, tell everyone was Shenmeng deliberately pretending to be sick that day so she wouldn't come to dance practice. If she had come, the one who would have been injured would definitely have been her. My parents used to teach her to yield to me and protect me. If she had been there, she definitely would have taken that shard of glass for me, and the one who would have had her limb amputated would be her. Not me. If you don't believe me, ask her." Just the story of Kong Rong giving away the pears. My parents had her recite it no fewer than 100 times. She would definitely give way to me. As she spoke, she collapsed to the ground. "I thought you were going to come up with some solid evidence. But I didn't expect you to still be this stupid." The teacher shook her head and tried to step forward to help her. But she was brusquely shaken off. With no other choice, the teacher had to reveal the truth. On that day, classmate Shermeng wasn't faking illness. I received proof of her treatment, the prescription slip, and the infusion certificate. You immediately deflated, muttering in a low voice that it was impossible. Fortunately, I had a doctor friend, and at the time he secretly took one of his father's forms and casually wrote something on it. Then sent me a photo. The video was also old stock from before. Fortunately, I have the habit of saving videos and pictures. By the time my mom woke up in the hospital, it was already 2 days later. After this incident, Yu's persona completely collapsed. And as a result, she also lost a lot of money. My parents completely fell out with me and kicked me out of the house. But on the day my mother had surgery, I still went. In the hospital corridor, she pointed at me hysterically. "It was you who made mom and dad sick. And you still have the nerve to come. What's so great about you? Even if I lost everything, I still have Lu Yen. I still have the identity of Mrs. Lu. But you, aren't you just some lousy painter? And I'm telling you, I'm already pregnant with Lu Yan's child. He won't abandon me." I laughed at her naivety. Laughed that she didn't know the impact this incident had brought to the Lu family. I bet right now Lu Yen can't wait to kick her out. You think too highly of yourself. Lu Yen wouldn't want a liar as his wife. As soon as she finished speaking, a familiar male voice came from behind. Who said it wasn't needed? Yu's eyes lit up instantly, and she rushed over and threw herself into Lu Yan's arms. "Honey, I knew you wouldn't leave me hanging." The appearance of Lu Yen surprised me even more. How could he accept Yu like this? Could it be, as I had imagined? After Yu gave birth to the child, everything changed. On a stormy night, Yu knocked on my door. "Sister, please save me. Lu Yen is a pervert. A devil." Yu knelt on the ground in a sorry state, her hands bound. She was dressed especially thinly in the bitter cold weather, and her exposed chest and arms were covered in scratch marks. Half of her face was swollen high, covered in bruises. She moved forward a few more steps and tugged at my pant leg. "Sis, please save me. Seeing Shi Yu's current state, I finally understood that everything about Lu Yan's behavior back then could be explained clearly. He is especially vindictive. Shi Yu is a liar. And the fact that she, together with my parents, squeezed me dry and used me to make herself famous is known to everyone. This had utterly disgraced the Lu family, so how could he possibly let it go? He chose to keep Shi Yu because he wanted to torment her slowly, besides having an extremely strong desire to possess. Lu Yan also had many strange quirks that were hard to understand. For example, if you went out for a whole day without letting him know, when you came back he would lock you naked in the basement for a whole day, when he felt like it. He also liked to play some role-playing horror games with you, and he would never stop until he scared you into tears. Once you were scared into crying, he would patiently coax you and call you baby, especially liking to bind a person's hands and feet and hang them up to beat them. The more you scream, the more excited he gets, and the harder he hits. I heard all of this from the servants in her family, who secretly told me back in my previous life, when I had been dating Lu Yan for less than 3 months. Fortunately, I stopped in time once I sensed only his possessiveness. Even hearing it now is enough to send chills down my spine, judging by Shi Yu's expression. She must have gone through all of that already. I looked into her pitiful eyes and suddenly remembered the day she married Lu Yan in my previous life. They put sleeping pills in the water I drank and locked me in the adjoining room connected to the kitchen. Shi Yu had deliberately left the gas on. Not long after they left, I was choked awake. But by then I had already been poisoned by the gas. My whole body limp and too weak to exert any strength. The pungent smell rushed into my nostrils, and my chest heaved up and down non-stop, while foam spilled from my mouth. Later, I could no longer breathe. The wedding ceremony was scheduled for 2:30 in the afternoon. At the very second I died, the two of them were exchanging a kiss. By the time the wedding was over and I was discovered, I was lying on the bed in a cubicle, foaming at the mouth, my face deathly pale, my body in an extremely unsightly state. They covered their noses and mouths in disgust, and afterward even said I had been taking an afternoon nap at home and choked to death from a gas leak. Even my own parents admitted it. So the police didn't pursue the matter any further. Shi Yu married Lu Yan and had children with a clear conscience, living the leisurely life of Mrs. Lu. Thinking of this, I kicked Shi Yu, who was kneeling on the ground, away. Sorry, I can't save you. Please take care of yourself. If you come back next time, I'll call the police right away. The front door slammed shut. And Shi Yu didn't know how long it was before she left. By the time I woke up, she was already gone. I turned off airplane mode on my phone, only to see that my mom had called more than 120 times. You've been calling since 7 in the morning. You must have a lot you want to say to me. I pressed call back, turned on speakerphone, and tossed the phone onto the table. Then went on eating breakfast by myself. My mother's cursing boomed through the phone. Shi Meng, your sister was bullied by that man surnamed Lu like that, and you just stood by and did nothing. Are you even human? When your dad and I first saw you, we really misjudged you. You're heartless and ungrateful. Your dad even spent money sending you to painting classes. If I'd known better, we should have just let you die when you were born. You ungrateful brat. My dad snatched the phone away. Shi Meng, if you have any conscience, help your sister hire a lawyer and get her divorced from Lu Yan. He's been abusing your sister, and she'll definitely get a lot of money from the divorce. If you refuse, then don't blame me and your mom for not recognizing you as our daughter. Listening to my mother's unbearable insults and my father's threats, I felt nothing at all inside. I simply picked up the phone and sneered into the receiver. You treat an adopted daughter so well, but your biological daughter so badly. Aren't you afraid of breaking my heart? My mom shouted that it was impossible. We adopted you two in the first place because you looked alike. But I watched closely. Yue is my biological daughter, and you were the one we brought back from the orphanage. Otherwise, why would your dad and I always insist that you give in to your younger sister in everything? I said calmly, but I heard that after the adoption paperwork was finished, the two of us were taken to be bathed. And the name tags were mixed up by the nurse giving us the bath. There was a few seconds of stunned silence on the other end. Then she roared again. Impossible. How could I not recognize my own daughter? If we weren't sure. Why would we have poured so much effort into her and even helped her marry into a wealthy family? You must be lying to us. Do you dare to do a paternity test? I said. My mom readily agreed. When the results showed that I was their biological daughter, while sure you was the adopted one. My mom couldn't accept the truth and fainted again. Sure you went mad. Insisting that I must have tampered with the report. I mocked her ignorance and didn't want to argue with her. So I got ready to get in the car and leave. She grabbed my dad's hand and said she was his real daughter, demanding that he give my dad $1 million to fight the lawsuit. After learning that Shiryu was not his biological daughter, my dad's attitude instantly did a complete 180. You're not even my real daughter and you still want to ask me for money. I'd already be doing you a favor if I didn't make you spit out everything we spent on raising you. We spent so much money raising you and helped you marry into a wealthy family. And this is how you repay us. Get lost. My dad said that and was about to take my mom to the hospital, when Shiryu suddenly shoved him. My dad slipped, crashed heavily to the ground, and died of a sudden cerebral hemorrhage. After my dad died, Shiryu panicked. She ran to Lu Yan's house and locked herself in, using their child to threaten Lu Yan. She said that if Lu Yan didn't help her leave the country, she would take the child and jump off a building together. In the end, the two kept struggling, and the child was saved by the servant. Shiryu pulled Lu Yan and jumped off the building together. When my mom woke up, everything had changed. She said it was all my fault. If it hadn't been for me, he and my dad would have lived a good life. And Shiryu would have used the Lu family's money to be filial to her. Her little grandson in the future would also sweetly call her grandma. Seeing that she was still lost in her beautiful fantasy, I had to tell her a cruel fact. I leaned closer and whispered in her ear. Your grandson developed a sudden fever last night, and no one noticed in time. Anne. My mom couldn't accept this fact and went crazy on the spot. Later, I started my own studio, and in order not to overwork myself, I found some like-minded partners to manage it together. As the studio gradually grew, many people also came from far and wide to become my apprentices. But at this moment, I only want to travel the world. A backpack and a drawing board are enough. Later, while traveling, I met my soulmate. We have 2 children. But I never teach my older daughter that she must always yield to her younger brother. I don't want my daughter to become a stepping stone on her brother's road to success. Everything in the future should be earned through one's own efforts, not by borrowing someone else's light to fabricate a false success.